Have hit Palestinian militant targets in the Gaza Strip. That's in response to rocket attacks, according to the Israeli Defense Forces. Palestinian medics report at least 25 people injured. I-24 news correspondent Shai Ben Ari is in Gaza.
We have witnessed that IDF response hitting targets inside the Gaza Strip. Just behind me here on the horizon, we could see very large explosions. This in response to earlier projectile fire towards Israel, with one rocket actually being intercepted by Israel's missile defense battery Iron Dome over the city of Sderot. That's a little to the north of here. And in fact, there was an additional projectile also fired towards Israeli territory that has yet to actually have been found. And a little while after that, around 9 o'clock local time, we did see that a response from the IDF hitting two targets belonging to Hamas, hitting a weapons warehouse inside the Gaza Strip, as well as a Hamas training facility.
2 Palestinians have been killed and hundreds injured in large-scale protests, according to Palestine's health ministry. Several reports suggest that over 750 people were affected. Tear gas, rubber bullets, even live ammunition were used by Israeli police as they clashed with demonstrators. Tensions have escalated following US President Donald Trump's decision to recognize Jerusalem as Israel's capital. Clashes between protesters and Israeli police have been seen across Palestine. In Jerusalem, people have gathered near the Damascus Gate, where there's a massive Israeli security presence. Marty's Charlotte Dubinsky has more.
Bottles were hurled at the security services and at the journalists who were trying to get out of the way, and then the police in turn were pushing those protesters away and running after them, some on the back of horses as well, trying to steer them away from Damascus Gate. But this is just an indication, a small indication of some of the scuffles that we're seeing across the Israeli and Palestinian territories today and over the last few days. And we've been talking to Israeli citizens and Palestinian citizens. This is what they had to say.
There will not be bad consequences and ramifications that will lead for another intifada or another revolution.
It's going to be intifada, I think so, you know, but it's this time it's not going to be short one, you know. I hope things turn out right, but it doesn't look right, you know.
Palestinians are going to look for any excuse they can to call for a day of rage, and they're not going to stop us.
It's a significant move. I think it's going to cause trouble. Why Jerusalem needs to be the capital of Israel, I don't know. It's here, it's in Palestine. It should remain in Palestine.
There's the sound of car horns in the air, and that's sort of people showing support for the small number of demonstrators who are here. They've been chanting things like, "This is our capital." These are Palestinian demonstrators who are unhappy with that announcement by Donald Trump. Meanwhile, on the other hand, the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has described this as being a great decision and has thanked Donald Trump for recognizing Jerusalem as the capital of Israel.
Palestine says that it will now reject any US-led peace negotiations. It also says that US Vice President Mike Pence won't be welcomed when he comes to the region later this month. We discussed the implications of Trump's decision with Dan Diker, Project Director for the Jerusalem Center for Public Affairs, and with Nabil Shaath, a Foreign Affairs Advisor to the Palestinian President.
Now, for the peace process, it actually paves the way to peace, because Israel will be called upon by the same Trump administration to make concessions to its Palestinian neighbor, which it will be much more ready to do now that a basic wrong has been corrected, which is to rightfully acknowledge that Jerusalem is the capital.
The possibilities really now seem blocked by what Mr. Trump has done. Jerusalem is a very, very sensitive issue to the Palestinians, to the Arabs, to the Muslims, and to the Christians of the world. And what he has done created a serious situation, not only of mistrust, but of instability and potential for explosion in this part of the world.
The Palestinian Authority looks, and the Hamas, of course, they look for any excuse to call for a day of rage. So, you know, the Hamas is in business to kill Israelis and to kill political opponents like the Fatah, and the PA uses the day of rage as an excuse in order to avoid making any headway on the peace process.
The word intifada really means a popular uprising, and a popular uprising can take varieties of ways. What is going on today is an intifada. What went on 3 months ago in Jerusalem was an intifada, but it was entirely peaceful, and that's what our authority really aims at. Popular uprising that is non-violent is the best way of expressing the feelings and the rejection of the Palestinian people of the Trump and the Israeli occupation.
Well, if the Palestinians want to wipe themselves off the face of the map politically, they should continue in this line of political violence as well as threats of physical violence. And I would suggest that they go back to the table and where they have Israelis with open arms and open hands willing to negotiate with them. But this is something they're going to have to learn to do and stop calling for days of rage and for terror and violence.
Protests against Trump's decision have been staged across the world. Many people rallied in front of US embassies in support of Palestine. Demonstrators burned American and Israeli flags, as well as posters of Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu.